What's up, guys? Welcome back to the farmstead. For those of you who are new here, my name is Rebecca. I am gardening in my backyard in a little suburban village. My garden is around 100 square meters. I am also farming in northern Namibia at a farmstead. Great. So today, wow, did I welcome you guys? Thank you for being here. Welcome. I really appreciate that my community is growing. I don't take you guys for granted. And I just hope that you're enjoying my videos. And please do give me suggestions on how to improve this channel because you're literally part of the family. And I'm really excited to have you. So today we are talking about food preservation yet again. This is probably my middle name by now. But today we are preserving spinach, aka we are making a vanda. So what is a vanda? Believe it or not, this is dried spinach, right? So a vanda is dry spinach that has been cooked down and sun-dried, so it's rock hard, and then it's cooked as relish or as greens, as a side meal, whatever. You know that I love the method of drying because you do not need freezer space. Just hold on. By the way, before I go on, spinach can definitely be frozen. It freezes very well and it preserves its freshness. Let me just show you something. What are you doing in the freezer, Missy? This right here is spinach. Actually, this is not the Swiss chard spinach that I'm growing in my garden, but this is the traditional Aawambo spinach that have been harvested at the beginning of the year, probably February, March this year. And now we are in the middle of November and this spinach is still in the freezer and it's still fresh. So if you have enough freezer space and you don't want to alter that freshness, I would advise you definitely go for this. However, today we're still making a vanda. And the reason why I want to make this guy here and sun dry here, it's because I don't have enough freezer space, but also I'm thinking ahead. Farmstead, we also have limited freezer space. The holidays are almost upon us. Christmas is almost upon us. And it's really amazing when you go into the shops and you see all this Christmas decoration. Oh gosh, it's so beautiful. Anyways, let me not get carried away. So at the farmstead, we don't have enough freezer space. We've had a lot of rabbits this year that have been destroying the garden up there. And we I'm just not sure whether we'll have enough fresh spinach there. So I'd rather dry it and then carry it to the farmstead. Make sure that my family still have some greens because it's impossible to have a meal in my family without some greens. Evanda is something that is well respected in my culture, such that when you have that very important visitor, you cook a vanda for them. When you have somebody who is leaving home, maybe for work, you know, in those olden days, our fathers used to work some up to 1,000 kilometers from home, and most of the time they travel for days on. So when your husband or when you have a loved one that is leaving home for work or just going away for a prolonged period, you usually cook a vanda for them, and that it's perceived or it's believed to be a sign of good luck. Guys, I'm not sure whether you can see Missy here, who's unpacking the freezer or the contents of the freezer. But if you can see her in this video, please just excuse her. That's who she is. She unpacks, we pack, she unpacks, we pack. And yeah, that's the story of this house. Anyways, So let me walk you through the steps on how to make a vanda. A vanda generally is just made out of normal spinach, bamboo spinach, although I'm making it with Swiss chard because Swiss chard is what I'm having right here, right now, and it preserves definitely the same way. You can dry it as chunks, you can dry it as a vanda. Yeah, so it's just spinach, guys, that has been cooked down and then formed into discs. Those discs then dry up, and once they are dry, this is what they look like, and we then call them Evanda. Let me not brab on, you guys, so that we can start this process. I will explain the process as we go, and then you get the in on my culture and how we culturally preserve spinach.
So we begin this process outside in the garden where we are harvesting our spinach. So today I decided to harvest almost all my spinach from this bed and only leave a few for fresh eating. So I don't think I want to bore you much with the process of harvesting spinach because obviously everybody knows how to harvest spinach. Notice how I am cutting my spinach. I'm cutting down the whole plant at the base, still leaving room for some new leaves to emerge. And the reason why I'm doing this is because the leaves comes back fresh, more like a new plant. Then I go through and just make sure that I trim down all the side growth because I realized that it had so many new I had so many new shoots, and that affected the size of leaves that I got from my spinach. So there I am just trimming everything down. And guys, I left a lot of these leaves just to compost in place, especially those that were not so good looking and the ones that were just too small and I knew would be a pain to work with. So at the end of the harvest, this is what my bed looks like. We left those spinach bunches here and then that one there, and I left those because we still would want to eat fresh spinach. So, and these two are enough to do the trick when we really want spinach. Yeah, so now we're going back inside and start processing our spinach.
You guys saw that I harvested this container full. So right here, it's actually the next day. So I harvested this spinach yesterday and I just got so lazy. And actually, the main reason why I didn't have the energy to just continue and do everything yesterday is by the time I got a little bit of time to think I'm going to get on with it, it was evening, and I found out that Ginny had snuck out of the yard. It was already dark. I went looking for her, couldn't find her. By the time I came back, my heart felt so bad. I was so sad, guys. Basically, it was so uncertain knowing that Ginny could be food to anybody. Well, obviously to me it's really a loved one. I didn't have the energy to continue anymore. But I wish I had the energy yesterday because today we had rain on the forecast. Yeah, I think so. We didn't receive any rain today, but boy, is it hot. It is extremely hot, such that I didn't feel like doing anything today. I felt like just being in bed, or at least just resting, not doing anything. But here I am now, getting on with it. I've been at this for a while now. I've already harvested. I've already blanched at least 2 potfuls. So we still have a little bit left. Not a little bit. We still have a lot. You guys saw that I harvested almost actually my whole bed. I only left 2 plants there for fresh eating, and I cut it like that because I know it will come back soon enough. Here it's going to be rain season, and I just wanted it to come back as a new plant, more or less, putting all the energy in the leaves, because next year I want to have bigger and better leaves, not like the same leaves that I got this year. So yeah, like I said yesterday, I ended up just pouring water in this container to make sure that it doesn't dry out, because when it dries out it wrinkles. And although the purpose here is to dry the spinach, I'm not really a fan of drying spinach without blanching it. You can dry it, you can totally dry it straight from the garden and then you just dry it. But it's definitely not my favorite way of drying spinach. Have never been. I've seen it being done as a child, and I don't know, for some reason, I just don't like the spinach that was dried without blanching. I don't know. It's just not my favorite. And I'm not saying it's bad or anything. I'm just saying that it's not my favorite. And because I want to still enjoy this spinach, I am going to blanch all of it before I dry it. So let's get on with this chopping, because guys, so we are going to be cooking down our spinach. And I say cooking down because I feel like that's more the right term to use than saying I'm blanching, because you can surely blanch and dry, but for this process of making Evanda, you definitely want to have your spinach cooked down a little bit longer than just normal blanching. So it's going to be in this pot for a while. I'm going to make sure that it cooks down a whole lot before taking it out. And what am I using to take it out? You can see this one here have already cooked down, and what I'm using is the steamer from my other pot. So this pot was a set that came together. This is what it looks like, and then this is the steamer that comes out, and it has its own lid. It comes in very handy because for this process you also want to make sure that your spinach have really drained and gotten rid of a lot of water. So like I said earlier, first of all, we are done cooking down our spinach. So this is our first batch, and this is our second batch now in the steamer. This is the water that came out. Let me quickly just drain this water out. So our first batch is done draining, and now I'm just going to stamp it down a little bit more because it's a bit too chunky for my liking. Like I said, when you are making a vanda, you want your spinach to have cooked down thoroughly rather than just bleaching. And then it's going to stick together much better. It won't break apart, but also it just makes much more uniform discs, and it's easier to cook, to rehydrate and cook. Even though you'd like it much smoother, I like mine with a little bit of texture, so I'm not going to stamp it down until it's very smooth. If I wanted that, I probably would have put it in the blender and just pulsed it a few times, but I don't want that, so I'm doing this with a cooking stick. And as I'm pressing it down, you can see that there's a lot of water coming out. So even after, this is a lot, way more than I would like the water to be in here. So I might just have to put it back into the steamer and try to dry it down again. But for now, let me continue the stamping. You can add some salt to your spinach when you are cooking it down. I didn't add anything to mine, no spices, no salt, because I want it to be as natural as possible. Is natural the right word? I don't know whether it's the right word because even with salt, it's still natural, right? Maybe I want it to have its original taste as much as possible, so that I have the liberty of spicing it and seasoning it the way I want to when I'm cooking it. And like I said, guys, it's totally okay for you to just take your spinach and then you decide you are drying it that way. It's definitely okay. And you guys, as you can see, there's not many stems in here. That's because I have removed the stems. They greatly interfere with the consistency of the vanda when you're making it. It's not that I don't like them. I actually like them very much, but I decided to compost them simply because I don't want our spinach not to have the texture that I really like. So sometimes you have to make sacrifices so that you have what you are making come out right. So I decided, although I like the stems, let them rather go so that I can have smooth Evanda. This is the cover that I'm going to be using to press down our Evanda. It's going to give shape to it. Usually the traditional way is just washing your hands, taking that spinach, and then you take it into your hand and then you just form it. Thereby, when you are forming it, you'll be pressing out the water, right? Do it like this. So the water will be going into another container, and then you shape it with your hand. That's why if you see a vanda that is traditionally made the traditional way, it's going to have an uneven shape. But for me, I prefer to use a frame to rather guide my shape so that I have a vanda that looks really nice. Also, before you come for me and kill me, this is Evanda made with spinach or Swiss chard. Usually our Evanda traditionally is made with traditional spinach, which I don't have here and which I'm not using. So don't really come and say, no, Rebecca, it's a traditional spinach, make it the traditional way. Of course, the frame doesn't take anything away from tradition, but you always find such people. So guys, we are done, and this is what we ended up with. Guys, spinach is such a scam, you guys. Can you believe that out of that container, I think that container is I don't know, 150 liters full of spinach. This is what we got. We got 13 vandas or spinach discs. So we are going to wait for this to dry, and in a few days they will look like the disc or the Evanda we saw right at the beginning of this video. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for watching our videos. We really appreciate you. I will see you in the next one. For now, grow a garden.